Hi, my loves, and welcome back. I'm so excited for today's video where I am going to be sharing a client success story of a client who became almost a multimillionaire. Well, she will be a multimillionaire and hit over $1 million in her business and also had her ex come back around and who is now her husband. And they had broken up. He was like, I never want to speak to you again. And I was talking about this in the Quantum Queen's Mistress Mind today, where we are watching some epic, epic, epic manifestations unfold. That's really the high level group for you if you're wanting to step into next level manifestations in your world. So if you want to be a part of that, it's application only. And we will be launching and opening the doors for that in about a month, but get in there now. So send me a DM on Instagram at the Awakened Aphrodite or email me Pamela at theawakenedaphrodite.com and just let me know that you are applying for the Quantum Queen's Mistress Mind. It's going to change your life. It's 6 months and we dive deep. So this client, she had tried everything. Okay. She tried absolutely everything. Her and her partner, they were in couples counseling, and with her business, she was already successful and she really hit a wall. Okay. And one of the problems that she was having was that all of her staff, like her staff really wasn't up to the task. Okay. So they were dropping balls. She had to work a lot and she wasn't actually having the results that she really wanted. And nothing felt easy for her. Everything felt really difficult. Everything felt like she was in this trying. And one of the things that she said to me is that no one really listens to her. Okay, no one listened to her. And she thought it was all of her staff. She wanted to fire everybody, basically. She's like, I want to fire everyone. And I said to her, that could be the answer. I mean, if you want to fire everyone, go ahead. And that might not be the answer. You can actually shift how people show up in your world. When you shift, they will shift too. Okay. And the same is true of her now husband, who said that he never wanted to speak to her again. And they broke up. They weren't even in communication. And he came back and he apologized. And that happened a little while ago now. And they're married and they're together. But I really wanted to share this because I want to inspire you and let you know that you really do get to have the life that you desire. And I'm also going to be putting a program together all about having someone come back in if that's something that you desire, which is one of my secret talents that I don't always talk about. But it's one of the things that I really love doing. On that note, I've said it before and I will say it again. I love, love, love people coming back together. When it's meant to be, right? When it's your desire, not just, sort of generally. And I actually think that your relationship can be so much better and so much deeper when you go through these moments together. I really believe that. And because everybody does, and the only difference is you either face this earlier on or you face it later. And quite often I see that when people are able to overcome these things in their relationships, they have the kinds of relationships that most people would only ever dream of. I heard an old mentor of mine talk about this, right, where he was talking about himself and his wife, where they're really in it. Like, they have been through it. They have questioned, like, should we even do this? But they are in it. They are so in it that they've really reached this beautiful place of trust and security where, with the things that they've gone through, they know that the other person isn't going anywhere. I think he said, did he say battle worn? I can't remember, but it was great. And yeah, it's more than possible. So the biggest thing that we had to shift with her was she was dominantly focused on him. Okay, she was dominantly focused on what is he doing? What is he thinking? Does he want to be with me? Does he not want to be with me? And that is a recipe for disaster. That is always a recipe for disaster. Instead, what we had to do was we had to shift her focus back on herself, back on who she is, back on the fact that she really is the prize, that of course she's the love of his life. Of course she's the only woman that he wants to be with, of course. Now, I want to share that there's a difference between manipulating someone, which does not work, and genuinely knowing that this is who you are, that you really are this person, that you really are a catch, that you really are everything, that your presence is pure gold, that your presence is pure magic, that being with you is pure aliveness itself, that you're not perfect, and yet that person loves you unconditionally. They love and accept you fully for who you are in every moment. And they're willing to fight with you. They're willing to put in the work, because guess what? That's what you really want anyways, that you're a priority in the world, that they prioritize you over anything else, right? Because you're their everything, and they're yours too. They're your everything too. And you get to have that. And we did a similar thing in her business, where her focus was on the people not doing what they were supposed to be doing. And instead, we put it on her and who she is and what she's capable of, the amount of money that she gets to make. The fact that everyone is celebrating her for making over $1 million in her business. That this is part of the unfolding of her being a multimillionaire, that everybody is in this deep support of her and becoming this woman and putting her focus onto that versus the things that she doesn't want. And the way that this happened with her husband created such beautiful proof and evidence that she could do this in her business. Because when she started to take her focus off of him, and when she would think of him, she would think of him in the way that she desired him to be versus the way that he was presenting himself, which was not ideal. Not ideal at all. He was being very stubborn. He was being very impossible, very closed off, very cold. She's like, I feel like I don't even know him. Right? I thought that this was the man I would be with forever. Like, I couldn't have been wrong about that. Could I have? Right? And if you have a desire, the other thing that I want you to know is that there's a reason. And everything can shift and change in a moment. And what you really want is to learn how to be truly powerful. That's why these things happen, right? These things happen. You don't want to be someone, oh, I know how to have someone ask me out and love me, or that's great, that's beautiful, but that's it. This is an access point into your power. So what we did was we had her focusing on her and who she is above everything else. No matter what was happening, even though at one point her and her husband, now husband, not husband at that time, they weren't even speaking. Right? And a lot of people that feels I understand that for a lot of people that would feel really difficult and confronting, and she shocked me. She handled it so incredibly well. I know who I am, Pamela. I've got this. I was like, wow, I would have probably reacted to that. There were some things that happened that I would have probably reacted to, that she went, no, I know who I am. I know what I get to have. right? And then in her business, because we had already done this in her relationship, in her business, it was so much easier because she went and she said, oh, I've already done this. I'm so glad that I realized that this is actually an entry point, because that's what I kept saying to her with her husband. This is an entry point into understanding how powerful you are. It's not about your relationship. And she got it. She went, I know you're right. This is about me knowing myself as powerful, right? It isn't about him. This has been set up by myself to show myself how powerful I am. And I want you to know that you can have what you desire. By the way, in having her now husband come back, one of the things that also happened was she had someone from the past come back in, and she actually got to decide. She got to decide. Did she want to be with this other guy? Does she want to be with her husband now? Right? And she persisted in choosing her husband now. But because she shifted and changed, other people started to show back up, which is so common. Like this every single client that I work with, this happens, where people from the past will start to show up, inevitably, saying things like, I want to be with you, I want to marry you, you're my one, all the things that they've been really embodying for themselves and with the person that they truly desire. And so please know that is your birth before land. You don't have to be with an ex or anything like this. You get to be with the person that you really want to be with. And nothing is set in stone in your world. I want to remind you that nothing is set in stone in your world. The moment that you really decide that things are the way that you want them to be, and you know yourself as that person. Again, you're not pretending. This isn't any sort of like you're manipulating other people, like, ew, gross. No. You literally just are that person. You know your worth. You know your value. You really know who you are. Of course, everything comes together when you see yourself as powerful in a deeper way. And it's the same in business. It's the same in love. It's not different. Now, there are nuances, I will say that. And it is the same. And understanding those nuances can be really significant and important. And I want you to know that you can create whatever it is that you desire. So, what stood out to you about this story? Do you like hearing success stories? And also, I'm curious, what has been your experience with this? Where are you at in this process? What are you manifesting? What are you calling into your world? What are you creating, really? And do you really know that you are the one? Because you are. You're the one that they've been waiting for. It's not an accident, right? And he said that to her, by the way. He said that. She was embodying that within herself, and he said that to her. You're the one that I've been waiting for, and I know that. He told her, I've been manifesting you. Now, he didn't say it in the way, he's not in the world of manifestation, right? But he said it in that way of, like, I know that I manifested you into my life. Of course. Because it's who she decided to be and accept as true. So, if you are ready to work with me one-on-one, at the time of this recording, I do have 2 one-on-one spots open. send me a DM on Instagram at The Awakened Aphrodite, or send me an email, Pamela@theawakenedaphrodite.com. And either you can work with me one-on-one at the time of this recording, and or you can join one of my programs. You can download one of my hypnosis audios. I will be creating a program all about having people show back up in your world, and I will link that below once it's ready. If you want to get on the early list for that, then email me or DM me, and I'll make sure to put you on the list so that you will be the first to know. And I'm so excited to read your comments. I'm so excited to hear what you took away from this video. And I'm also excited to know what you are creating in your world. And thank you so much for being here. Whether it's day or night, you know, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and for just being awesome.